Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's your man Wise, back at it again with another reaction video. All right, man, I'm checking out another video from Doug in Exile, man. This is She's a Killer. Trump has Elise Stefanik's loyalty. I think I'm pronouncing her name right. I know Elise Stefanik is the New York, or she's a representative out of New York's 21st district. And all the things that I've read about her thus far is, I mean, she is a powerhouse of a representative, great when it comes to fundraising. And she's obviously been very loyal to Donald Trump up to this point. And it looks like she may be the pick. It looks like that is his pick. Give me 1 second. Let me slide the video in. If you haven't done so already, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, go over to Doug's channel, man. Show him some love. Subscribe to his channel as well if you haven't done so already. Man, he drops great content on a day-to-day basis, man. So without further ado, let go.
Elise Stefanik, VP. Get used to that because I believe that's who Trump has picked. I'm going to make the case for it, not only for why I believe Trump picked her, but why I believe she's revealing that she's been picked and why she is an impressive, the best candidate for vice president. Let me make my case. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TenNapel. This is where the happy patriots are. Let's go. First, NBC, quote, she's a killer. Trump eyes Rep. Elise Stefanik as a potential VP pick. There she is. The former president has spoken highly of New York Congresswoman, and his allies say she's high on the list of vice presidential prospects. Now, I do believe Trump has not told anyone. I believe he has only told Elise. That's when Rep. Elise Stefanik, the hard-charging upstate New York Republican, came up, according to a person at the dinner table. So this is about a private dinner about Elise Stefanik. Attendees around Trump raved about her viral moment just weeks before when she grilled 3 university presidents at a congressional hearing about anti-Semitism on campus. So I have to show you this footage. This is her grilling Claudine Gay, diversity hire pick to be the president of Harvard.
Our commitment to
It's
free
a yes or no
speech-
question. Is that corrected? Is that okay for students to call for the mass murder of African Americans at Harvard? Is that protected free speech?
Our commitment to free speech.
It's a yes or no
extends-
question.
She knows how to talk back to these liberal apparatchiks. You shut them down. Just watch this, how Stefanik, how well she will be able to navigate the postmodern, woke, BS language where they make you feel like you're going to human resources. She turns it around and just snaps it off at her.
What action has been taken against students who are harassing and calling for the genocide of Jews on Harvard's campus?
I know that over the last couple of months, there has been an alarming rise of anti-Semitism, which I understand is the critical topic that we are here to discuss.
That's correct. It is anti-Jewish hate crimes. And Harvard ranks the lowest when it comes to protecting Jewish students. This is why I've called for your resignation, and your testimony today, not being able to answer with moral clarity, speaks volumes. I yield back.
And she resigned. She's no longer the president of Harvard. Elise Stefanik, 39-year-old kid from New York. She's impressive. Can you imagine her having a vice presidential debate with Kamala Harris? Oh, it would be horrible.
She would rip her to shreds. She would rip her to shreds.
Would be a bloodbath. At the thought of Stefanik as a possible choice of vice president, Trump nodded approvingly at this dinner. She's a killer, Trump said, according to the person at the event. Ever since then, Trump and a growing group of allies have started to look more closely at Stefanik as a running mate, according to 8 people familiar with the matter, including people in Trump's orbit, Stefanik fundraising bundlers, and former Trump administration officials. So they're all coming to the same conclusion. That's why I'm calling it now. At the time, the 39-year-old Congresswoman was at the crest of a wave of national publicity after taking the top leaders of Harvard, the University of Pennsylvania, and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Their answers to the question, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate your college's rules of bullying and harassment, eventually resulted in 2 of them resigning and brought a firestorm of criticism on the schools. She changed academia forever.
Absolutely. And warranted. We know Claudine Gay, alleged plagiarism. And yes, she did step down, I guess maybe a couple weeks ago. I did not hear about I think the president from Penn. I hadn't heard about, I knew that person stepped down, but I'm not real familiar with them and their situation.
One person, 39-year-old woman. But Stefanik was on Trump's radar long before that hearing because she possesses one of the key attributes he's looking for in a 2024 running mate, loyalty. That mixed with her ability to drive the news on key issues may be the irresistible mix for a vice presidential pick. Stefanik is at the top, said Steve Bannon, who was Trump's chief strategist in the White House and architect of his 2016 strategy. On Wednesday, after the story was published, Stefanik announced she would be campaigning with Trump in New Hampshire. He's taking her for a trial run. And of course, she's been by his side in many campaign events, but he really needs New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And she's the girl who's going to help him go against.
Let's correct that. She's the woman. Let's correct that.
Haley, who's top tier threat in New Hampshire, and Trump's going to stomp her.
Nikki Haley will never secure the border. She doesn't believe in the secure borders. She can't believe in them. She actually opposed my border wall, and she was out of all of a sudden she's opposing the wall. I say, what the hell is going on? She's actually opposing it because she's basically, as you see, when you have all of those Democrats coming in to vote, I don't know that she's a Democrat, but she's very close. She's far too close for you. She condemned the things we were doing with the wall, and yet we had the greatest border, the safest border we've ever had. 2016, she stabbed the Republican Party in the back by siding with Barack Hussein Obama.
She's come a long way, and now she's really...
Nikki Haley is a rhino. We know this. She's a rhino. She's a Trojan horse.
Really with us. Trump said during a lunch in the spring of 22, according to a source familiar with his comments, adding, she was kind of with us before, but she's really with us now. Stefanik declined to comment on whether she would be interested in being President Trump's running mate, telling NBC News that she was focusing on her role in Congress, which is what you'd say if you were picked. Quote,
Absolutely. And I can respect that. I can respect that 100%. And, it's not for her to jump out there and say that, she is going to do this. There's a time and a place for everything. And I'm sure that time is coming very soon. We'll know 100%, who the running mate will be with President Trump. And I hope that it is someone on the younger side of things. I told you guys the other day, I like Vivek. I like Byron Donald. I hadn't heard a whole lot about Elise until a couple of days ago. But she's very, very impressive. 39 years old. Again, we need a good contrast, and it makes complete sense. She's a woman. She's smart. And then the showing that she had recently, in those congressional hearings, with the wokety woke presidents from these colleges, from these Ivy League schools, she showed up and showed out. And big ups and big respect for her.
I'm not going to get into any of my conversations with President Trump. I'm honored to call him a friend. I'm proud to be the first member of Congress to have endorsed his reelection, and he had a huge win in Iowa. So we're very excited about that, she said. She was first to endorse Trump. I think she knew then. Here she is on Meet the Press. Watch this. This is what separates her from a Mike Pence.
Would you vote to certify, and will you vote to certify the results of the 2024 election, no matter what they show?
Well, I voted not to certify the state of Pennsylvania because, as we saw in Pennsylvania and other states across the country, that there was unconstitutional acts circumventing the state legislature and unilaterally changing election law.
What about 2024? What about 2024?
We will see if this is a legal and valid election. What we're seeing so far is that Democrats are so desperate, they're trying to remove President Trump from the ballot. That is a suppression of the American people, and the Supreme Court is taking that case up in February. That should be a 9-0 to allow President Trump to appear on the ballot, because that's the American people's decision to make this November.
She's absolutely, and it should be a 9-0. It should be a no-brainer. The left always talking the democracy. First off, we don't live in a democracy. This is a constitutional republic, first off. But they always talking this, fair elections and all this other kind of stuff. And they're the ones blatantly in everybody's faces doing all the things that they blame or say the right is doing. It's them.
Making the winning argument here that the real problem with the election was that they unconstitutionally changed the rules long before the election, not what happened on election night, if you know what I mean.
The matter is, of course, halted pending that appeal, as you say. But just to be very clear, I don't hear you committed to certifying the election results. Will you only commit to certify the results if former President Trump wins? Does that mean if former President Trump wins?
No, it means if they are constitutional. What we saw in 2020 was unconstitutional circumventing of the Constitution, not going through state legislatures when it comes to changing election law. And we're seeing this in my home state of New York, Kristen. We are seeing Democrats try to steal the election and illegally gerrymander congressional districts that we fairly won and are fair line. So I see this at a very local level, as well as the unconstitutional overreach we saw at the national level in 2020.
Boom. She just made the best case for Trump. And wait till you see what she's doing in New York, because she's been hitting Jack Smith. Stefanik's loyalty is out in the open, including in an interview this month with NBC's Meet the Press. And it's a stark contrast with Mike Pence, who became a target of Trump and his supporters after he refused to go along with Trump's plan to deny Joe Biden's 2020 presidential election victory. Stefanik, on the other hand, has been known for years in Congress as one of the lead crusaders defending Trump. She served on Trump's impeachment defense team in 2019 and backed his efforts to overturn the 2020 election that led to January 6th attack on the Capitol. Quote, "Well, I, of course, would be honored to serve in any capacity in the Trump administration," Stefanik said. Stefanik also attracted attention for the interview when she echoed the president's language, calling January 6 defendants hostages. She is agreeing with him on his terms. On Wednesday, Rep. Dan Goldman, Democrat New York, announced he would file a resolution to censure Stefanik, a move that could make her even more popular with Trump's base. And it's true. This was yesterday.
A few hours ago, New York Democratic Congressman Daniel Goldman introduced a resolution to censure his fellow New Yorker, the fourth most powerful Republican in the House, Elise Stefanik, for comments like this one.
Do you think that the people who stormed the Capitol should be held responsible to the full extent of the law?
I have concerns about the treatment of January 6 hostages. I have concerns. We have a role in Congress of oversight over our treatments of prisoners.
Hostages. She called them hostages.
In this display of allegiance, including her refusal to certify an unconstitutional presidential election in 2020 and potentially in 2024, that showcased the New York representative's skill at seizing moments to advance Trump's interests and dispatch his enemies, and have apparently vaulted her ahead of the competition. That is according to woke media. The December dinner wasn't the first time that Trump brought up Stefanik, both as a loyal confidant and a possible VP candidate, according to another person who has attended past events involving both of them. Quote, "What Trump has consistently remarked about is how good she'd be as a VP," this person explained. So Trump's already privately been talking about her as VP and your next president after Trump. Trump has long talked about Stefanik's prospects for higher office, telling attendees at a Mar-a-Lago fundraiser 2 years ago, attending by Stefanik, after 2024, she could be the next president, confirmed the chairman of Conservative Party of New York State, Jerry Gassar.
Wow. Could y'all see that? 2028, are we ready for a woman president? Would people support that?
So Trump is serious about setting her up for the next win, about her being an incredibly powerful ally. In recent months, Stefanik has gone after the presidential judge in the New York civil fraud case against Trump. Good. Called the Attorney General Merrick Garland to investigate the former president's fixer, Michael Cohen, and filed a complaint against the federal judge who supervised the grand jury for special counsel Jack Smith's indictment of Trump. So she's also hitting Jack Smith. Trump needs an ally in New York. She could also reverse that whole order that's kicking his business out of New York. Stefanik brings obviously incredible talents by many levels from the House and knowing how to defend President Trump and the MAGA movement, Bannon said. And most importantly, she knows how to play what I call the unforgiving moment, when you have to make that decision and go all in, because the woke monsters will never forgive Elise Stefanik for throwing in with Trump. So she's all in, and I believe he's already picked her. Trump already says he has picked his vice president. I believe he's already picked her. Of course, you won't find out until the convention this summer. I'm Doug in exile.
Man, appreciate it, man. Shout out to Doug, man. I appreciate the content, man, and just keeping us informed, man. Wow. Let me know what you guys think, man. Is it Elise? Is it Elise Stefanik? Is she the VP that has already been selected? We know that, Donald J. Trump has already come out and said, we have already made the choice, which lets you know there's no hemming and hawing there. The choice has been made, which means that they are now working on a game plan. They're crafting the plan right now. One, on how to roll this out, but two, how to really go in and snatch the hearts and the souls, out of the folks out in the left, on the left, man. Again, she is not someone that was on my radar initially. After hearing this, it's starting to make sense, or it actually makes sense after hearing this. I thought, Vivek, I thought Byron Donald, I thought MGT, I thought, who else? There was a couple of other folks, that Carrie Lake. Those are some names that I tossed out there. But I would not be upset with this pick. And again, I guess choosing a man to run with him, I don't want to say it would hurt the campaign, but adding this lady into, and adding her to his campaign would bolster and help his campaign. Obviously, we know we have a lot of women out there. We have a lot of the, pro-woman, the feminists, and there's a lot of people out there that voted, for Biden solely for Kamala, because they wanted a woman vice president. We hadn't had that, in this country. And I guess we are in a situation where, hey, we kind of have to fight fire with fire. I understand that this politics thing, it's a big game, and you got to know how to play the game. It's all, politics. It's a chess match. You got to know how to play. And it makes complete sense. If, President Trump chooses to go this route, I wouldn't be upset with it, just based on, what I've seen. And then watching her in that congressional hearing, a couple weeks back, and seeing it and just seeing those clips. I mean, she's solid. She is solid. So I wouldn't be upset, man. Let me know what you guys think. Who is your pick? I'm sure we'll have this conversation a multitude of times leading up to the, Republican convention, this summer. I'm sure we'll have a multitude of conversations about this, and everybody speculating on who the pick and who the pick is. And obviously, we already know that a pick has been made. Is it Elise Stefanik? How do you feel about her? And if you think it would be good, let me know in the comments. If you think someone else would be better, let me know in the comments. I appreciate all the love and support. Man. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment down below. I love hearing from you all, and I'll catch up with you all next time. We out. Peace.